The manila envelope was already torn open when I lifted it from the mailbox, as if the metal mouth knew what inside would gut me. I didn't recognize the handwriting, blocky capitals, no return address, but the weight felt wrong, too heavy for junk mail, too light for a bomb. My thumb found the slit, and a stack of photographs slid out like a dealer's cards, face down on the foyer tiles. I crouched to gather them, still wearing the smile I'd rehearsed all morning. Surprise her with brunch, tell her the audit is finally over, ask if she still wants to try for a kid this year. The smile cracked when I turned the first photo over. Claire, my Claire, laughing in a wine bar booth, fingertips on the wrist of a man I'd never seen. His thumb grazed the hollow of her pulse, territory I still considered mine. The next shot, outside, dusk, her hand inside the man's back pocket like it belonged there. Third, the two of them kissing against a brick wall, her leg hooking his hip the way she hooks mine when she's half asleep and wants to climb inside my skin. I sat on the stairs, envelope between my feet, listening to the house breathe the way it does when the heat clicks off, one long mechanical sigh. Transparency. She'd promised the night we combined bank accounts. No locked drawers, no solo passwords, just glass walls. I'd believed her the way you believe the weather report. Partly cloudy, chance of sun. Pack an umbrella just in case. The umbrella was now a spear through the sternum. The detective's 2-page report lay beneath the photos, paper-clipped, clinical. Dates, times, cross streets. Subject C. Entered the Westin at 14:53, exited 9:10 following morning. A grid of thumbnails, hotel lobby, elevator, hallway, her face blurred but unmistakable to anyone who'd ever counted the freckles on her nose. I read the line physical affection observed in public prior to room entry and had to stand, had to move, because the walls tilted like a ship losing ballast. I walked the first floor in circles, photographs fanned in my hand like a perverse tarot. Each room offered evidence of the life we'd layered over the last 7 years. The couch we financed at zero interest, the Moroccan rug we haggled for in the souk, the silly ceramic rooster she bought because it looked like my dad when he laughed. Every object suddenly felt curated, props in a play whose final act I'd missed the rehearsal for. My phone buzzed. Claire. Asterisk boarding now, back by 3. Save me some pancakes. Asterisk a red heart emoji, the same she'd texted the day I proposed. I stared at the emoji until it stopped being a heart and became 3 red circles, a traffic signal telling me to stay, go, yield all at once. I couldn't answer. I put the phone face down, then picked it up and scrolled to her Find My iPhone. Still at gate C24, no rush, no clue. The app had once felt romantic, a way to watch her navigate the world toward home. Now it was a predator's collar. I clicked notify when leaves like a bounty hunter, then hated myself and turned it off. The kitchen smelled of the coffee I'd brewed for one. I poured the rest down the sink, grounds splattering the porcelain like pepper spray. My hands shook, not angry yet, just stunned, the way your body jerks awake when it forgets how to breathe in a dream. I kept thinking, all I have to do is wait, ask, listen, but the questions kept shape-shifting. Asterisk how long? Do you love him? Is it over? Was it the first time? Asterisk each one a landmine disguised as curiosity. I refilled the pot, needing something to do with my fingers, and while it hissed I opened her laptop. Password the same as our Wi-Fi. The one we laughed was uncrackable. Tacos for life too. The joke now felt like a taunt. I went straight to email. Not proud, but not hesitating. Inbox 0. Then I remembered the folder she thought I didn't know how to find. Archived chats. One click and a thread titled Work Trip Q2 bloomed open. They'd written novels to each other. Paragraphs about hotel sex that left the sheets, a topography of us, about inside jokes involving her birthmark, shaped like Ohio. He called her light because she turned the hotel dark into morning. She called him Rush because you make my pull stupid. I stopped reading when I hit, I love the way your husband's name tastes when you whisper it against my neck. A sentence so grotesque it felt patented, impossible to share with anyone ever. I closed the laptop and swallowed a sound that wasn't quite a cry, more an animal caught in wire. The coffee pot overflowed, brown water pooling across the counter, dripping onto the floor in a rhythm that matched the pulse in my ears. I let it spill. Let something besides me break order. Upstairs, I went to our bedroom. The bed was unmade. She'd left in a hurry, tossing the duvet toward the headboard. One pillow on the floor. I picked it up and smelled hotel shampoo, the citrus kind I never buy. Evidence everywhere, yet nowhere I could show a jury. I sat on her side, opened the nightstand drawer. Lip balm, a half-eaten Luna bar, her diaphragm case. The case rattled. I opened it empty. We hadn't used it in 6 months. We were supposed to be trying. I laughed, a bark that hurt my throat, and snapped the case shut like it could still protect something. I needed air. I grabbed the envelope, stuffed everything back in, and drove nowhere, windows down, February wind slapping my face like a drunk friend trying to keep me conscious. I passed the wine bar from photo number 1. Closed, chairs upside down on tables, yet I could see them there, ghosted into the glass. I drove until the gas light blinked, then parked beside the river that divides our town in half. The water looked metallic, slate gray, unmoved by my crisis. I tore the detective's pages into tiny squares and tossed them in. They sank quickly, ink bleeding until the current erased dates and betrayal alike. The photos I couldn't let go of. They sat on the passenger seat like a second person judging my next move. My phone rang, Claire. I let it ring. It stopped, rang again. On the third try I answered, voice scraped raw. Hey. Did you get my text? Boarding in 5. Pancakes, still possible. I looked at the river, at the paper confetti already gone. Sure, I said. I'll start the batter. She exhaled, relieved. You're the best. Love you huge. Love you huge. I echoed, the phrase we'd stolen from a canceled sitcom, now a haiku of sarcasm. I drove home slower, rehearsing sentences. We need to talk. No, too surgical. I know. Too cinematic. Tell me about the Weston. Too specific. She'd panic, lawyer up, accuse me of hiring a spy. Maybe I wanted that fight, the explosion that would cauterize everything. Maybe I wanted her to deny it, spin a story I could limp inside for warmth. I mixed batter instead. Flour snowed over the counter, eggs cracked like small necks. I whisked until my shoulder ached, watching bubbles rise and burst, each one a promise. She arrived as the first pancake browned, cheeks wind-chapped, suitcase dragging like a guilty dog. She kissed my neck from behind, the way she always does, and I felt the ghost of rush on her lips, tasted someone else's morning. Smells like Sunday, she said, hanging her coat. I flipped the cake. How was the flight? Turbulent. Held hands with the stranger in 12C. She laughed, not knowing she'd stabbed. I plated the pancake, slid it toward her. She sat, poured syrup, cut a neat triangle. I watched her chew, watched her swallow, watched her exist in the same room with what I knew. Good, I asked. Perfect. She reached for my fingers. You okay? You look hollow. I almost laughed. Hollow. Accurate. A man scooped out, held upright by habit. I pulled my hand back under the guise of reaching for the coffee pot. Poured her a cup, black, the way she likes it. Sat across from her, the envelope hidden beneath yesterday's newspaper on the counter behind me. I found something in the mail, I said, voice steady as a table saw. Her spoon paused midair, syrup dripping like a countdown. Photos. Pages. A whole story. Color left her face in one slow wave. She set the spoon down, aligned it parallel to the plate, a futile attempt at order. What kind of story? The kind where you're the protagonist, and I'm the guy who gets written out in chapter 3. She breathed through her mouth, small shallow sips of air. Who sent it? Does the author matter if the facts check out? I pushed the envelope forward. She didn't touch it. I drove to the river. I tore up the report. But I kept the pictures because I need to see if you look guilty or just free. Tears arrived without sound, the way fog slips in. I was going to tell you.
When?
After the next trip? After we picked baby names? She flinched at each question like they were belts. I don't know how to fix this. Start by saying his name. She whispered it. Ethan *, and the kitchen towel cracked open, a fault line between us. I felt the pancake harden in my stomach, a stone sinking through hollow water. We sat while the syrup dried, while the clock chopped seconds into confetti. Finally I stood, took her plate, scraped the half-eaten circle into the trash, an offering to the gods of wasted things. I'm going upstairs to pack a bag. When I come down, we'll decide if glass walls can be glued or if we sweep the shards and walk barefoot. On the landing I paused, listened to her cry the way you listen to rain when you've already decided to stay inside. Sorry it's falling, grateful you remembered the roof. I didn't know which choice I'd make, only that the envelope still breathed behind me, and that pancakes would never taste the same, and that somewhere between the river and this moment I'd started bleeding ink into water, erasing myself so I wouldn't have to decide who got to keep the story we'd once called ours.